I am standing here at the Kokomo City Hall with Miami County Prosecutor Bruce Embry and Deputy Prosecutor Sinkovics. They are here to discuss the big bust that went down yesterday. Gentlemen, I heard one of them was picked up at the Knights Inn. You want to go ahead and tell us about that? Prosecutor Embry, what do you have to say about the situation that's going on?
Who also provide drugs to dealers in Peru.
Oh, I just got informed I don't have any audio, so we might have to speak up a little bit louder and do this again. So with the multi-agency situation like this, how much effort goes into what you do? I mean, a lot of manpower, the whole 9 yards.
Well, first let me say our local law enforcement agencies are experts in drug enforcement, and they do an excellent job. They may not have the resources the federal agencies do, but every day, down to the line officers on the street, they're fighting this cause. And at times, then, what you have to do is you take that information and you pass it on to the federal agencies. And that results, as one of the agents said, none of these operations usually start out on the federal level. They all start with local, the state police, the sheriff's department, the Peru Police Department, giving this information of what they know about drug dealing that expands beyond the community. As was mentioned in the press conference, we used to have methamphetamine manufactured in Peru, and we still do, but on a very small scale. It's coming from the Mexican cartel now, so you have to fight that differently than we did just a couple years ago. The tactics that we use, so we have to be proactive in the information we get and passing it on to agencies that are dealing with these drug dealers in other communities and on a federal level. But I just can't say enough about the job our local law enforcement does day in and day out to fight the drug crisis in Miami County and everywhere. And the individuals in this operation, in addition to the one that was arrested yesterday in Peru, we know have been active in the Miami County community, supplying to drug dealers in Miami County. So this all starts someplace, and it has ended up in Howard and Miami County.
Okay, we had a little bit of an audio problem to begin with. Can we go ahead and go over the Deshaun Everhart again out there at the Knights Inn?
Yes, we became aware of this investigation and were asked to assist. Yesterday morning, this started off here in Howard County, and then I was asked to assist in obtaining a search warrant for Deshaun Everhart, who was known to be at the Knights Inn in Peru, Indiana. And when federal agents, U.S. Marshals, Miami County Sheriff's Department executed the arrest warrant that the federal authorities had for that individual, drugs were seen in plain view in his hotel room at the Knights Inn. That led a request from federal authorities for me to seek a search warrant for that room, which we did with federal agents and the Miami County Sheriff's Department. After that search warrant was executed and approved by Superior Court Judge 2, Dan Benina, the search was done, and over 100 grams of methamphetamine in cash and some other items of paraphernalia were found in the room. And Mr. Everhart, in addition to his federal charges, will be facing state charges in Miami County for that.
Prosecutor Embry, what do you have to say about the multi-agency? I mean, was it 5, 6 different agencies?
At least. And we've been partnering with the DEA for the better part of 4 years. Gary Nichols, our investigator, was a task force member with them. We've helped them and they've helped us on a number of occasions. They bring some resources that are hard to come by locally, and I agree with Jeff. Our local enforcement does a great job. They get a lot of drugs off the street. Sometimes you need to share that information, sit on it and wait a little while so you can track those drugs back up the chain and get a bigger fish. The people that were taken down yesterday were big fishes. The fact that they were taken down and those drugs confiscated will save lives on the streets of Peru. And I'm pleased that we've partnered with the DEA. I'm grateful for all the great work our local law enforcement people do as well. And it's all about keeping Peru safe.
Now, according to what I remember from the press conference, this all stemmed from a prescription drug investigation and then blew up. It was also brought to the attention during a Mayor's Night Out, I believe is what it was called.
Yes.
So basically, it pays off if you see something, say something, correct?
Citizens are vital. Citizens can provide us with a lot of information. If they see something that they think is suspicious activity, report it to a local police agency. Let them investigate it, spend a little time on it. It may or may not be something, but it could grow into something like this. And that's precisely what happened with the information that Mayor Goodnight was given.
So citizens should not be scared of what is going on in their neighborhoods, is that correct? I mean, the moment they see something, call somebody.
Absolutely, and sometimes I think citizens get frustrated that that it doesn't happen fast enough, but you can't do these things overnight. This operation was a long time in the making. So you take that information. I think sometimes citizens get upset that the next day there's not an arrest made. That's just not how it works. To get into, with our Constitution, to get into someone's home, you have to develop a case, and there's a lot of work that goes into that. But just because you pass that information on, it's not acted on immediately. Our local law enforcement is acting on those tips and building what they can do to make cases. And people should not be afraid. You can provide information anonymously. And you can do that. We prefer people go on the record and say things, but if what people want to give as far as information is anonymous, we will take it. We will work it. We have always done that. And our local law enforcement appreciates it. And it does take a community effort. As you said, it was said in the press conference that a tip about a prescription drug incident and a tip to the mayor and a Mayor's Night Out led to this massive federal operation that was bringing drugs into a large part of Indiana.
I am sure that the great citizens of Miami County do appreciate everything you both have done to take these off the streets. Is there anything you would like to say to anybody watching right now?
Yes, once again, if people have information on dealers, give us that information, we'll act on it. And also, as was mentioned in the press conference by the U.S. Attorney, what can be done for the addicts? If you have friends and family members that are addicts, as the Kokomo chief said, he had a brother-in-law that succumbed to drugs. This is hitting people of every class, every race, and it's important for people to get help. There is treatment available for people. Drug dealers won't have a job if we can give the treatment to drug users. And I would hope that individuals that are struggling reach out, find help for your family members, friends, people your neighbors that are stuck in the cycle of drug use.
Well, thank you very much. Prosecutor Embry, is there anything you'd like to add?
I would echo what Jeff just said. I'd really like to see people who are addicted find treatment. We'll help them with that if at all possible. We try to delineate between people who are making money off drugs dealers, the ones that you see that were taken down in this operation, and those who are simply addicted, and get help for those who are addicted. We're not trying to punish them, we're trying to help them.
Well, on behalf of the citizens of Miami County, we thank you, and thank you very much, gentlemen.